Welcome to Amtgard Leadership University. We're sitting here at the Gathering of the Clans 2017, and during this next hour or so, we're going to be speaking with members from the Principality of Winter's Edge and the Principality of Northreach. Both of these lands have provided a preliminary bid last year at Gathering of the Clans in 2016, and this year they're actually coming up for a vote with the Circle of Monarchs, where they'll each be providing a brief presentation and then fielding questions from the circle. We're going to take a little bit of a different approach to this one. Really, we want to learn a little bit about your lands so we can share it with everybody, talk a little bit about where you play, things like that after we do our introductions, and then we'll go into kind of what the last couple of years have been like. We've had a number of panels about the kingdom, quote unquote, year, if you will, but I'd really like to just explore and get to know the personalities and the cultures of your lands, if you don't mind. So without further ado, as usual, we'll start from the left, going to the right. A brief introduction about yourself, some things you want to highlight about your land and what makes Northreach and Winter's Edge special. And then we'll get right at it to some more conversation. So,
my name is Hadelind. I am currently the Principality Prime Minister for Northreach. Previously have served as Principality Monarch as well. And I love to talk about standardized best practices in membership and finance and pretty much anything that you can standardize. I love to talk about that, so I hope we get to today.
Hi, I'm Gorin. I'm currently the Principality Champion and Monarch-elect, where I step up next weekend. Hadelind's an admin officer goddess, but my big push or big focus in the Principality and its organization is on organizational structure, such as the way your officers are arranged and do business, as well as field activities and fundraising. Like, those are all areas that I push really, really hard.
okay, thank you.
I'm Khazon. This is my fourth term as Winter's Edge Monarch. I've also been Winter's Edge Champion and Regent before as well. And I come from Iron Springs, which is an Atlanta-based group. And Winter's Edge spans from out to, Trenton, South Carolina, and out to the west to Memphis, Tennessee. So also I like to focus a lot on communication, talking to the officers and so on, making sure everybody's on the same page, and getting things nice and organized for that.
Hey, I'm Pahyum, or Pi, also from Winter's Edge, coincidentally also from Iron Springs, the Atlanta-based group. I'm the current Prime Minister of Winter's Edge. I've also served as Monarch, Regent, and GMR in Winter's Edge as well. I too actually am a very organized-based person, so I also like to standardize things, throw everything like on docs. Like, I like to have lots of documentation, and that's one of the big things I push, is always writing everything down.
Okay, thank you both. I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to call you each by your principality's name, and it'll be up to you to figure out who wants to take my question. So, Winter's Edge.
That'll be entertaining.
Why Kingdom? Why are you pursuing Kingdom status?
Well, I think that it'll help us to continue, making Amtgard as great as we can be in our area. It'll help us to continue to be more autonomous and not really have to go through other folks to make sure we can get things done the way we want to. And so I think that's one of our big things is autonomy.
Also, by being Kingdom, we bring more Amtgard to the game. It's not just, all the people hanging out in South Florida with our parent kingdom, but, we get to expand that, we have like a no man's land in Mississippi Amtgard right now, which doesn't have, very much, which we're slowly pushing into, and that, Gulf area between Rising Winds and us. So, by being Kingdom, we bring more Amtgard to, the rest of the country.
Okay. Northreach.
Same question?
Same question.
All right. I'll take this one if that's okay. All right. It's actually a pretty interesting question for us because we have a fantastic relationship with our parent kingdom. So, like, pretty much anything that we could want or need administratively from being a kingdom, we pretty much already get. We have had a 100% yes return on any kingdom level award we've ever asked for in the last 17 years. So there isn't anything like that that's driving us to kingdom. For the most part, it's sort of like Khazon said, it helps us to continue to make great Amtgard, which is our mission statement in our corpora. But also, we want to be a part of National Amtgard. We want to help steer the ship, that, and we want to see mammoths on things. We think that there should be more mammoths. No, but really, we do good Amtgard. I feel like we do really fantastic Amtgard in Alaska. I feel like we have a really good structure. We have a really good setup, and we kind of want to take that next step and be part of the Circle of Monarchs, and be involved in where Amtgard's going worldwide and in the future.
Okay. 1 minute. Hadelind, best thing about Northreach.
The people. The people of Northreach are amazing, and the energy and the passion and the enthusiasm and the dedication that they bring to it is what makes Northreach amazing. And I'm not going to cry, but I really feel passionately that way.
Great. I think that's a great thing to be passionate about. You both answered. Pi, we'll go with you. 1 minute.
1 minute, best thing about Winter's Edge. So similar, I'll say, the people, the community, the society that we build amongst ourselves. Like one thing is I told a lot of people, when we do things in Winter's Edge, we have our big events. We always try to, we have a lot of day events. So we have our big day events. We always go out to eat afterwards, hang out with each other. Yeah. We build a community. We build friendships. Yeah. So, Amtgard is more than just hey, we get together, we hit each other with sticks. But, we have friends, people make, friendships, relationships. This Saturday will be my 5-year anniversary with my girlfriend. And, these are...
Plug.
And this is all from Amtgard, and that's where we met.
Great. Thanks for that.
What was that?
Northreach, your greatest success up until now. You can look at each other to figure out who's going to answer.
There's a lot.
One answer.
Right?
Get one.
I'm trying to prioritize.
I'll give you 3.
Okay.
Does it make it easier? No.
No.
No, I can answer a couple of those, I think. Our structure is a huge success.
Yep.
We have an administrative structure or a government structure that is built and designed and executed to support the officers and the members of the club. So nobody's ever left on their own to figure it out. That helps newer members be a lot less intimidated when they want to become officers. And it helps from sort of lone mistakes being made. Nobody's going to screw up on their own and drag us down. We're going to fall together. We're all going one way or the other, good or bad, as a group. And so that is a huge success. We've got kingdom level Amtgard in Alaska.
Scope that for a little bit because
I'm going to. I wanted to let it settle in a little bit before I go into a little bit more. In the entire state of Alaska, which is twice the size of Texas, okay, just geographically, there are only 700,000 people spread across this entire area. Okay, there's one highway. And we've got 5 chapters that all vastly exceed what people would consider normal for their rank, barony, shire, duchy, or whatever. We have dedicated Amtgard. We have huge events. And we've done that in Alaska, where 8 months out of the year, there's snow outside, where we have chapters that have to figure out how to play Amtgard indoors because for the next 6 weeks, it's going to be -40 to -50 Fahrenheit. For those of you guys counting in Celsius, it's basically the same number. Okay? There are some huge obstacles that we have to overcome, and we didn't just overcome them. We didn't just survive in it. We managed to create an Amtgard that thrives, and I consider that to be a huge success. And a lot of people have said, "Well, it's Alaska. There's nothing else to do." If you've ever been to Alaska, there's a lot else to do. It's part of why people, millions of people travel to Alaska and spend a ton of their money there because they want to do what Alaska can do. So we actually compete regularly with other activities. So I would consider that a success.
There's 2.
Yeah, so the third, I think I'm going to cheat a little bit and use an ampersand. That's transparency and communication. We work really, really hard to communicate on as many levels as possible with our entire membership, which is spread across a very large distance, to provide as much transparency as possible. And it's something that as leaders is always a goal. You want an informed membership and populace so that, they can be educated in their engagement. But I feel that we're successful at it. And are there areas where we can improve? Absolutely. Oh, which is maybe another success, right?
But we stopped at 3. Yay!
Okay, and I already cheated. But I definitely feel that the level of transparency that we have achieved in our organization through our communication is absolutely a success.
Great. Winner's Edge. You get 3 now, thanks to the Alaskans.
And you can use an ampersand.
Oh,
An
plus
ampersand.
10%. Oh, man.
Well, I think to try and not keep copying, one thing we should focus on is arts and sciences and Winner's Edge. We now have a yearly event, the ANS Symposium, every February. Next February will be our 3rd time doing it. And we've got a great cross-gaming community in Southeast of the USA. And we've had SCA people, we have DAG here people, Will Bellow DAG, and down here. And we all come together. We have almost 20 to 30 unique classes. And stuff that you don't really see, like the glass torching, the bead making, things like that. So we have a huge, thriving ANS community. So I always brag about Winner's Edge ANS. So that's definitely a big success we have.
Yeah, we've really been making a lot of improvements in that area. We've also been flying in people for that event too.
Right.
So we've really gotten experts that are nationally known to come in and really give us the heads up on a lot of those things. It's been really excellent on that. Yeah.
It's one.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, definitely our events are really good. We have, obviously with the Kingdom Push, we've been pushing the monthly events. Part of our cross-game community is we have a lot of other traditional LARPers in our area, such as like the Nero, Exodune, those type of folks. Winner's Edge has a yearly event, Crystal and Chronicles, which is a full immersive roleplay event, much more similar to Nero than Amtgard, where you come in and we have an opening ceremonies on Friday night, and the quest starts in the at dark, and then everyone quest, and like you're in character the entire time. And we've had different ways of doing lives. From V7 we had life chords, life stones. Now in V8 everything's infinite lives. But I said either way, you're in character Friday night, you play, we have a small break, and we do some tournaments. And then Saturday morning, first thing, we've got these radiant quests running throughout the day. We have some dungeons that we, stake up with, rope and cord, and we've got relics and magic items, and we have a shop, and, you can buy stuff for your character, and you have a bank, and you can save all your money from year to year. And we've been, this year is it year 7?
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.
Yep.
So this
Yeah.
October will be 7th year of doing that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Some little economy and stuff.
It's true. I've been
Yeah.
there. It's good.
So third one, I would say would be our growth. Our growth in multiple ways. I would say growth in numbers throughout the years since since our inception, as well as maturity of the players. We've also picked up a lot by writing our own Capora and getting that together and starting to run by that and so on. I really think also in communication as well, using things like Discord and other stuff like that, kind of really helped to organize our folks, having those chats between the officers and different things. I think Facebook has also helped us out a lot with that as well, because man, oh man, was that better than Yahoo groups.
Yeah, Winner's Edge, we're big proponents on going with technology. We don't like to, oh, this way it's always been done, this way it's always been done. We're like, well, this is a new way of doing it. So, we had Ventrilo, now we're on Discord. We have lots of Discord meetings.
Yeah.
We have Yahoo groups, and hey, what's this Facebook thing? Everyone get on Facebook. We have some groups that do Twitter.
I think we're also a lot more interconnected too with Amtgard as well as a whole. Because we made sure to get a lot more people out into the different kingdom groups and start listening what's good out there and trying to take that information back and oh, that's a great idea. They're doing this. Oh, they're doing great. That's doing that. So I think that's also really helped out too to create more societal norms within our groups with Amtgard as a whole. So
Here's one for Northreach specifically. So you talked about the size and the population. So being in Alaska, how have you encouraged that growth? I mean, you've got some pretty interesting parks out there with pretty limited demographics.
We have a
right?
multi-pronged approach. It all comes down, if you want to encourage growth, you just need to demonstrate and model good Amtgard. Good Amtgard is attractive, right? It's fun. It's professionally organized. There's something for literally everybody to participate in. So as we've started chapters, that's what they started with. They started with a ton of support. I mean, mountains of support. And even though distance is a huge factor, like I'll give you an example. We have, Anchorage is the primary city in Alaska. Like 500 of those 700,000 people live there. And we started a chapter that was a 3-hour drive south. Me and another guy, Lord Anton, we drove down there every weekend for like 12 straight weeks to help get them up and running. And we dragged everybody we could with us. And so they got to see just this overwhelming support, models of good Amtgard, not having to just kind of guess and figure out how to do things. They could ask questions. We would show them how to make swords. And that sets a fantastic foundation for growth, because you can't really go anywhere but up from there. Right? It's hard to crash. And so that has been a huge growth factor for us.
Winter's Edge. So you've got a totally different challenge. You're actually surrounded by multiple kingdoms, right? We've got rising winds, you already mentioned. We've got wetlands, I think, to your west. Neverwinter will be to your south. Crystal Groves,
Right.
a little bit farther away, but we're up in the northeastern area. So how are you going to attract or encourage new parks, because you talked about expanding, to join your kingdom?
So it's funny you say that. Okay, there's actually a lot. We're more remote than we seem, and even Florida, Neverwinter Amtgard, is more remote than it really seems, because the entire state, is Amtgard, right? But other chapters are very, very far apart. And like I said, Mississippi, I think we only have the only group there. We've had some players move out to certain places, and there just wasn't any Amtgard there. So the way how we're expanding is we have these other smaller freeholds in the Carolinas. And so, for example, they're too far away from Rising Winds, and they're just a tad far from us too. But we are, working on bringing them into the fold. So there's actually a lot of expansion room in Winter's Edge. So we're not really competing with other kingdoms. I don't see it that way, because, like I said, there's just this no man's land areas, to the north and to the west of us.
Okay. Northreach, over to you. At Winter's Edge, you're going to get an opportunity to... Actually, you know what? Because we did the positives. We're going to start with Winter's Edge. Explain the situation in which your group has had to overcome a major problem. You get to define the major and the problem. But we want to hear both.
I think bannings are always a challenge. I think
Stole ours.
I think because there's a certain expectation that it's done professionally as well as within a certain period of time. You want to make sure you do all the research that you can on those particular situations. And I'm not talking about one. I mean, there's been bannings, that
Right.
you've had to do. You want to be transparent, but at the same time, sometimes if there's a victim, you have to, it's a very difficult balancing act. And then there's all the people who are friends with that person that's being banned too, that you also have to explain the situation. So it's that, I think, is one of the larger, difficulties and challenges that you kind of have to overcome. And we've done that. It's not fun, and no one likes it. But the thing is, we have to make sure that everybody feels safe and comfortable, going to our events, and have the ability to have fun and not have fear. So
I love the fact that you scoped the problem really well. How did you overcome it?
Well, doing the research, talking to all the people involved, talking to the people outside that circle who have other information, making sure that everything we have is legitimate and together. Then from there, talking to the people, if there was a victim, talking to them, of course, as well. Talking to the people that are in trouble, explaining to them the situation and working that out with them. And then from there, making public as much as we really can make public about what we should do in a professional manner, very carefully formatted, and explain to them too, and let them even see, if you can, what you're going to be publishing, so that it's understood, and that hopefully we're on the same page. Listen, you messed up. And hopefully they're like, yeah, you're right, I did, and they go with everything. But sometimes you just got to do it. But I think that's pretty much, as far as overcoming, you just kind of have to go through it. Good communication with everybody,
To tag on to the good communication, I think that another big thing is, again, you want to, communication is key. Being able to talk to everybody involved is key. Being able to stay professional the entire time and not let emotions get ahead of you, and have people like, oh, well, I just don't like this guy. We generally, whenever we do things like this, we pull from our knowledge bases, from past leaders, past monarchs, and past officers. We want to make sure we double check ourselves. I like to say, I make sure that I do the self-evil check. Are we being evil, or are we doing the right thing? Another thing too I like is we try to have no surprises, because as in the world of social media nowadays, you don't want to just have a situation where someone does something and it's wrong, and then you just have the officers get up on the boards and just post like, bam, this thing happened. Like, that's never good, because the person who even did the wrong thing, you want them to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why everything is happening. So even if that guy messed up, or that person did not do the right thing, you don't just get on the boards, fly off the handle without addressing that person and addressing everyone else involved and letting everyone else know, like, hey guys, this is the situation, this is what's happening. And once everyone is clear on what's happening, then we go ahead and push that communication on to the rest of the populace. So, we've never done anything where we haven't, like I said, just no surprises. I think that's the biggest thing, is no surprises.
I think it's also really important culturally that people understand why banning people or temporarily suspending people, essentially, in some situations, is important for the community and why it needs to go on. Because some people just don't get it. Like, well, yeah, whatever they did, that's a stupid thing. Who cares?
No.
And it's really important that the community as a whole understands that too.
We had a whole panel on that.
Yeah.
Northreach. The exact question was, explain a situation in which your group had to overcome a major problem.
Yeah, so we've obviously also had the challenge of banning and adjusted in very much the same ways. We had another situation where earlier in the history of Northreach, we actually were up to 6 parks. And we are at 5 at this point in time, because we had a group that was located in northern Alaska that decided that Northreach wasn't a good fit for them. And they got together and their local all-thing met, and they voted to leave Northreach. And that had the potential to be a really negative situation. I mean, you never sort of want to run into this idea that somebody doesn't like you, right? You want everybody to be your friend. That's our human instinct. But at the end of the day, absolutely, those people 100% have the right to make that choice to be part of an organization or not. And the way that we overcame that ordeal was with transparency and communication and consistency. So we talked to them, we talked to their officers, which was most of their members as well. How did this come about? Is there anything that we can do to, make a good fit for you? And then we talked to our membership about it. How does this work for us? How do we navigate this? And we bring it back to the people. It's the people of Northreach. And so really we were able to navigate that potentially really dangerous situation just by being calm, by being professional, by communicating with them, and having absolute transparency in the entire situation.
Yeah, and for some perspective on that, in Northreach is one NPO, right? So all the chapters beneath them aren't really separate legal entities. I mean, they kind of can be, but we have like one set of bank accounts. It's all owned by Amtgard of Alaska Incorporated. So if a chapter decides to leave, all of their electronic assets, all of anything that's in their bank account, etc., doesn't technically necessarily go with them. So there was the potential for a ton of drama if a park leaves, but our membership was super supportive, said, hey, take everything, do what you want to do. Like, we want to support you guys in doing what you think is right for you. And yeah, through like lots of communication and being transparent about everything that was going on, there was like zero drama involved. It was pretty cool.
So on a much lighter subject, hopefully, but Winter's Edge, you mentioned the Crystalline
Chronicles.
So what's the rest of the RP culture like out there?
I mean, it's often connected to that. A lot of times we'll have little park raids or park visits from Monarchy and so on, or like the Principality, visits that we would do as we were leading up to everything, and we would often have quests that would be tied to it. Haven't always done that, but oftentimes we do. At least maybe like one for the time. And we often will reuse some of the like evil villains to come back in, and those characters get like a more of a deeper plot, with them as time goes on. So they actually have a little bit of history to them. So it's really kind of growing along with that. Actually, it's its own like homegrown Winter's Edge, characters and
Right.
And stuff that kind of goes along with it. So.
We also have a little bit of an online role-playing culture.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
slowly growing. People get up on the Facebook and they we're gonna have an event way every day battle, and people try to have like a reason why they're going. You know what I mean? We have these people who betrayed the crown, and now we have to go squash the traitors. Oh, but they didn't just betray the crown because they were evil. They were being controlled. And then people write things in and fill that in. And then we have other people that really get into it. And we have a recent person who likes to draw lots of pictures and things like that. And we have people who post up just, little fun memes and media and stuff like that. So.
But we've got a lot of homegrown stuff. Like one of our groups worships a cow.
Right.
And
then we have
Thundercluck,
We have
which
Thundercluck.
we have a chicken costume, and they run around in
Right.
that, and we got a lot of fun, silly stuff. We've been working a lot on morality choices too. Things are questionable. No side is probably quite right. But either side could really be the right side to be on, and so they have to clash and make some decisions and stuff like that. So
we're pretty big into props.
yeah, props sell. Yeah,
Props make events.
yeah, they do.
Northreach, insight in the role-playing culture?
Oh my gosh. Look, I've visited Winter's Edge, and these guys are flirty. Without a doubt. And one of the things I love about that is it reminds me so much of home, because our folks are ridiculously flirty. We have were-bunnies that wear full rabbit costumes and throw throwing rabbits. We've got, we get it down to the personal level. We have people that we have, web forums that we use for all of our official archiving of records and things. We got some folks that have been doing an ongoing RP story, maybe 20 of them, that's years old. I mean, you could read through it it's thousands of pages. We've got a full-on fleshed out, map of what Northreach looks like with all of its geographical features. We have, just almost 2 decades now of RP history that exists. It's out there. You can find it all. And again, we have, the recurring themes that come up. We're going to be doing some of that during my term here next reign. And we have, in, wintertime, we do a big quest dungeon that's just nothing but RP. We have RP events. We did a year-long campaign, quest campaign that was, sort of narrative, and it had a fully functioning economy, and people bought and sold items, and it got to the point where people went beyond just questing. They invented their own meta where they would go to a park and buy all of the short swords and then take them away to create monopolies and start to own the economy. You'd have the Assassin's Guild did that. They were going to be basically the gun runners of the campaign, and so they would do that. And so that's people get into the RP part of it a lot, they really do.
So the previous panel was nurturing future leaders. How are you nurturing? I don't remember where to start. We'll go with Winter's Edge. How are you nurturing the next generation of Winter's Edge members, leaders?
Well, a lot of our offices have some sort of assistant now attached to them in our new Kapora. And so that's a lovely way to kind of get someone in there and helping you out and really start to understand the insides of it all. So I think that in itself is a really good thing, because it's an internship kind of deal in a way. So I think that's number one, because it's right there in the forefront, and they get to experience it hands-on. But in addition to that, again, we have those Discord chats where we go ahead and talk to the different officers and so on, and we talk to different people, and anybody's allowed to come to a lot of our meetings, and so they hear what we're discussing and what's going on, and they kind of get a feel for that. And of course, on the side, we always encourage people to go ahead and talk to the other members of the populace. Who do you think has the skill or the drive or the interest time to go ahead and be the next person and explain to them, talk to them, lead them, and help them, see what's going on and talk to them about stuff. So I think that's a lot of it.
Northreach?
So our structure is basically designed to support new leaders. We've touched on it a little bit here today, and you may have heard about it previously. We have official councils set up. So each of the prime ministers across each of our 5 parks have their chancellor's council. And so right now they sort of report to me. Well, they do report to me. And so once a month at a very bare minimum, we get together in our chancellor's council and we talk about everything that the chancellors might need to talk about. And we do that using Mumble, which is basically Vent or Discord, same thing. Again, because there's a fair amount of distance, so we're not likely to be meeting face to face. The other thing that does is it if you're stepping into office for the first time ever, you have a built-in support network of not only other people across the principality that are doing your job and have done it. You also have your principality prime minister, who's going to be your principality officer. Sorry, I may be focused on prime minister a little bit. You have your principality officer, who's going to be very, very involved. And then you also have, of course, your local top 5. So when you're looking at that as a very first-time officer, you have 11 people, not including yourself, who are there to help you. And additionally, we have some apprentice-type roles, heir apparent, scribe, and whatnot, that also assist with that. And the culture of Northreach is such that it's very encouraging. Just try it. You never have to do this alone. There is a huge support network for you. And so people are, I find, more willing to dip their toe in the pool because it's not like an all or nothing sink or swim situation. We will help you. We will be your water wings. You will not sink, I promise.
We're all a bunch of floaties.
Winner's Edge?
You already asked.
We did already ask. I'm sorry.
I was like,
We could go into it
I
some
have
more.
another
We have
question.
more
No, I'm sorry. Why shouldn't you be a kingdom, Northreach?
You were looking at them.
I know.
Why should
Trying
we?
to be
Why
fair.
should we not be a kingdom?
Yeah.
Man, honestly, if there were any reason to not make us a kingdom, is because it wouldn't change Amtgard for us. It would change Amtgard for everybody else. Honestly, if tomorrow morning they say no, we go home and literally nothing changes. Our relationship with our parent kingdom is amazing. We'll just continue rolling on. It just means that we won't, get to participate in the greater Amtgard. So, does that answer your question?
I kind of feel bad for Winter's Edge. Why shouldn't you be a kingdom?
Their
Trying
answer.
to follow that one.
Ditto.
That's a good
paste.
Control C, Control V. It's going to be pretty similar. Nothing really does change with us as well. I mean, we do have a good relationship with our parent kingdom now. Our kingdom monarch is even in the audience.
Yep, look at him. Yeah.
He is supporting
Us too.
That's fantastic.
Very nice.
So supportive. Love you guys.
Even we try to schedule our events a year in advance. Like I said, we already have I got a quick pick on this pen. We already have ANA Symposium scheduled for next year. We're already working on our 2018 schedule. Even though we don't necessarily have to have monthly meetings, after we got the Kingdom bid numbers, like after we got our 75, we've still been holding the monthly events. Just incidentally, because the local groups want to get together and hang out. We just had 2 parks. We had Raiden Valley and Mechia. They just wanted to get together.
Yep.
And they said, hey guys, we want to get together, have a big event. And a big day event. We said, hey, we'll all go in, hang out, have a good time. And we played games and we had dinner afterwards. And like I said, that was about a month ago. And then we've got our mid-reign coming up. And then, I don't know, they say nothing much does really change. Like I said, we might have not a December event because it's cold in the holidays. So that might be a change.
Okay, fair enough. Our time is coming to a close.
Oh.
So, but there's enough time. So if you want to take a couple of moments, again, just to share about your culture. The vote's going to happen 2 months prior to this being shown. So unless they're in the audience right now, right? So, but just spend a couple more minutes. We'll bounce back over to Northreach. Just share a little bit about what you want us all to know about Northreach. Why should we all buy tickets and come to Alaska, Tennessee?
Well, for one, just to some more perspective on what we have up there. Our parks on a clear day with good highway conditions are 10 hours apart. That's the distance. In the wintertime, that's a 12 to 18 hour trip from one end to the other. And
If the highways aren't closed.
and remember, this is 5 parks. So it's not like there's lots of parks along the way. Like to get from my park in Anchorage, Loop and Moon, up to Astro Winds, that's a 6-hour drive on a good day. And there's nothing in between them. Like stock up on gas. You know, it's a very lonely highway all the way up there. So there is a lot of isolation even within our kingdom. If you think Alaska's isolated just as Alaska, a lot of our parks independently are very isolated even from the rest of Northreach. So that's something that that we have that's a part of our deal. But we have a lot of fun. I mean, in the summertime the sun doesn't go down. 2 o'clock it dips below the horizon. At 2:15 it pops right back up. We do jogging at midnight. We have lit ditch fields.
By the sun.
We have our own version of jogging. It's full contact. We use 10-foot chains. It's a lot of fun. You guys should try it.
Or not.
Or not. Whatever. I mean, our people like it. We've done a couple hundred matches. Seems pretty safe to us. We have a blast with it. But our people are incredibly welcoming of visitors. We love when people come there and visit us. So I would recommend to anybody that you do that. And finish it.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the things that is great about the culture of Northreach is that there are a lot of challenges inherent in just our location. But the culture of the members of Northreach is such that when we see a challenge, we don't let it be a roadblock. We see it as an opportunity, and those things make us better. It makes our Amtgard better. There are plenty of places or people or organizations or whatever noun you want to put in there that, would see our isolation as a detriment. But instead, we've turned it into a bonus, right? Like we've let it work for us. Same thing with our environment. Like not being able to play outdoors for the majority of the time could be something that kills a fledgling park some places. For us, we've turned that into a boon. It gives our members, sort of a feeling of ownership. It gives us a very good purpose for those precious few hours that we have to play Amtgard indoors in the wintertime. And that's just sort of the culture of Northreach. If it's difficult or seems challenging, that means it's going to make us better. And that's how our general populace approaches it.
Yeah, I think that something that we've been really doing well recently, especially, is we're really trying to create an environment where we have something for everyone. So we've got our battle games, we have our ditching, we have our tournaments, we have our classes, whether it's arts and sciences or leadership or whatever it is that's going on. And we try to always have that diversity going on at our events. We often try to have a tavern as well. We bring a lot of board games and things. We're trying to have a lot of yard games and stuff out there for people to play. So we try to make it welcoming for everybody as much as we can. So if you want to be, board games the whole time, cool, we got a spot for you. You want to go ahead and learn how to be a better leader, we got it. You want to go ahead and learn how to, do something on an inkle loom or, do something with glass beads or, something different, we'll have some sort of class happening that you can go ahead and do that for. So, I think that, and I think, and additionally too, we've recently created a Facebook group called the Families of Winter's Edge, where we've got the families that are coming together and they're working on trying to plan and orchestrate, watching each other's kids with people they trust. So rather than us trying to organize, we have this person in charge of kids activities, let them go ahead and, watch and decide and make sure that, I'll bring the coloring books. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and bring and so they kind of work together with that. And so I think that's something that we've really been, that I think is awesome about Winter's Edge here most recently.
I think Khazon got it mostly. Like we definitely shoot for trying to provide something for everybody. We try to give everyone like their own niche thing to do. I guess like one thing Winter's Edge has a little bit of the sister park going on, where we have a lot of parks like try to visit each other. We try to like little inner insular travel between themselves and things like that. So that's kind of cool. When our parks are a little bit closer, we can get away with doing things like that.
Great. Well, I sure appreciate you both, or both lands and all four of you spending a little bit of time this afternoon sharing a little bit of insight into your principalities. Wish you nothing but the best of luck tomorrow when you face the Circle of Monarchs. And again, thanks for giving us a little bit of insight and spending some of your event with us. If I could, a quick round of applause for our panel members. A big round of applause for the amazing volunteers who make this happen.
Yeah.
Thanks again, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your event.
Thank you.
Thank you.